Alright, let's see if I can remember everything. It is 4 15 in the morning right now. Things are going to be a little bit weird for the next few weeks. I am in 1 hour leaving this house to drive to Sacramento Airport. It will start 22 hours of travel, something like that. I think I told you the destinations, but I'll leave it for now because I will be filming from those places. Oh yeah, so I didn't do one last night, and I am not that busy from Vibe Camp. I just planned things out poorly. I mean, I am busy, but like very little of it's actually scheduled unless I've got video calls with people, and that was just, I didn't give myself enough time before, like regularly scheduled meeting. My cats are freaking out a little bit. They can tell something's up. I'm not usually awake at 3:30 in the morning. I'm running around. Most of my packing was already done. Before this, I've kind of just been like chilling and listening to music, grabbing the last few things. But I wish I could speak to them. Wish I could tell them I'm coming back. Don't worry. They are going to be sad. You should sing sometime on one of these videos. It would be cool. I would like that. Cats. What else did you ask about? You asked about Vibe Camp. I was going to leave that one for last. We talked about school a little bit. You had like a couple different questions. I have been like, I'm just so excited. This is my first time leaving the West Coast in well over a decade. When I was, oh my gosh, they're running all around. When I was using, it was, I never seemed to make what I brought with me last, and it was so stressful trying to carry drugs traveling, and I don't know about it this time. Like, not using. I don't have to try and smuggle drugs or like worry about there accidentally being residue in my bags or, weapons. I wasn't like carrying guns or anything, but I usually would have knives on me for dumpster diving, honestly, for opening bags and boxes easier. I feel like there's a question that you asked that I'm forgetting, but you can always just ask it again. So I guess I will talk about Vibe Camp. Maybe not. I don't know. I feel like I've been talking a lot about Vibe Camp like all the time. This is one thing I was going to say. You were talking about procrastination, and I've been thinking the last couple days how nice it is that I don't do that anymore. It's weird. It's like this feeling of like endless time. Like I was mostly packed days ago, and I always packed right before leaving in the past, like the morning of, and was, I did it and it was fine, but I was like frantic. And now I'm just like, alright, I'm done. I guess I will chill and listen to music. And like I remember one time going over to a friend's house. I rarely got to stay the night, or like was allowed to stay the night at friends' houses on school nights. And it was one morning I was over at a friend's house. I got permission, and it was so quiet and peaceful in the morning. Like her parents were drinking coffee and listening to the newspaper, and they weren't screaming at each other. And it was like this. It was so surreal to me because my mornings throughout high school were I'm often ended in tears, and were just kind of harrowing. Like I would sleep in, and my mom would scream at me, and we would get in terrible fights, and it was like this weird pocket of like an alternate reality. And now my life kind of feels like that. Like with the Vibe Camp stuff, like I've been just like doing it for the most part. I mean, like I've been having, still getting phases of like long COVID symptoms that make it harder to do stuff. But for the most part, I'm just like, all right, there's a thing I need to do. Let me do it. And then I do it, and then I have more time to do other things, and I like don't feel rushed. Things are like moving at like a pretty clipping pace, but it never like it doesn't. Like, there are a couple times when it's gotten overwhelming, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's 3 p.m. and I haven't had anything to eat today. I should probably do that before I decide whether or not to panic, and then I'm usually fine. Or it turns out like I've just run out of energy for the day and need to just not do stuff, which happens, and that's fine. Which is like this overwhelming feeling of like peace, and it's so wonderful. I wish I could just like into other people's brains. And yeah, Vibe Camp I feel like is gonna be like an extended house party kind of, but like one of the cool ones where light just turned on, where people are, you know, not just getting like trash and lighting things on fire, but like having a good time, hanging out and doing stuff and talking about things. And yeah, I'm glad you're feeling less intimidated, if that's what you were trying to communicate. Yeah, I want to get the lurkers in. I want to get the people who feel like, am I part of this community? I want to be, but I don't know if I, I want to like, I feel like I've heard from so many different people that like being a part of this community, whatever you want to call it, has been profoundly beneficial for their lives. And how many more people could have that experience if we got more people feeling comfortable and feeling involved. I know that's kind of like the whole thing within group is like, oh, if you know, you know, or like if you realize it's a joke, then you're in or whatever. But like, I don't know. I like illegibility. I also, I think it's okay every once in a while to make things a little bit less illegible and bring in some fresh blood. Like, I've made so many new friends through this, and I don't know, it's really interesting. Like, all my best friends now are from Twitter, and some of them, like Gas Station Barbie and Mycelium Mage, I have never met in person, but I would consider those people, like, two of my best friends. Like, not two of my best internet friends. Like, those are two of my best friends. And how many other people have, like, relationships like that have never been, like, consummated? and I don't know. I'm gonna cry for sure. Like, it's gonna be so powerful. Like, there's a bunch of people coming that I have met in person, and that's gonna be very cool. Kind of like, it's like you meet somebody once, and you're like, oh yeah, we ran into each other at a party. You meet somebody like 3 times, like, yeah, that's my friend. And yeah, and you spend like 2 days with people, like, oh, it's gonna be so amazing. I feel like, I mean, there's always a chance something will go horribly wrong, but as time moves on, like, I'm feeling a lot more like stable in the idea. I mean, it was a very like vague, fuzzy vision. I mean, one that we were very much behind in the beginning, but until we had like a location and then the date and the ticket sales, like, it was very like nebulous. Like, is this gonna happen? I mean, we always believed it would. We'd make it happen one way or another, but I'm particularly from the outset, I'm sure it probably seemed like it was, maybe just a dream or a meme. We have memed it into reality. Oh my gosh, this time tomorrow, I will be somewhere else. So excited. It's cool that you sing. Interviews to sing or dance. I was too embarrassed, too afraid of making mistakes or sounding bad or whatever. It was actually a macaw named Sarge that kind of like broke me out of that a little bit in Los Angeles. I was staying in an Airbnb. This is part of a much longer story. Has to do with like running away from the abusive ex that I had. I was trying to like, he wanted to get us an Airbnb for a day, and I talked to the owner prior, and I was like, this is what's going on. This is my plan. I'm gonna wait until he goes to work, and then I'm gonna flee. And the Airbnb owner like let me just stay there for free. He said he wanted to help. He really wanted to just take advantage of me. It was, yeah, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on that right now, but he had this 33-year-old macaw named Sarge, and Sarge was kind of mangy, like, neurotic a little bit. He was, just taken care of. He was brought outside every day. He was fed and everything, but people didn't really, they treated him like a trophy pet. And I was staying in the same garage as him, and sometimes it'd be just me and him, and I'd be, trying to, figure out what the heck I'm doing and everything, and he, I noticed that he would mimic people, and so every once in a while I would mimic him, and he would just, stop and do that, wait, I haven't, get the shit out of my face, the parrot face, woo, what are you doing? What kind of creature are you? And, it was noticeable, and then I started, mimicking his motions. He'd, bob his head, and I was like, it looks a lot like you're dancing. I wonder what kind of music you like. And so I started putting music on, and it was, really clear when he liked something. To the point where sometimes if he had a really, old school hip-hop, he loved it. His favorite song was the Salmon Dance by the Chemical Brothers, which I found particularly delightful. But if he had a groove going and he's popping his head and flapping his wings, then you put on a song he doesn't like, he a couple times would go over and start throwing walnut shells at my head. It's so clear. I mean, he just really had a personality and interests. And people who don't think that animals are people make no sense to me. All I had to do is pay attention a little bit, and it's there. And anyway, so we'd have dance parties with Sarge, and no one in that house had realized how interactive he could be, and how how fascinating he was. And they started treating him a little bit different after that. But there were a few times where I was like, all right, Sarge, I'm having a bad day, we're gonna dance. And I'd bring out a little shitty speaker I had, and we'd put on music, and we would dance, and I would instantly feel better because it was so delightful. And I realized, wow, this is like a hack. I can just do this to feel better whenever I'm feeling bad. And so I taught my neighbors, I don't realize this is me, but I taught my neighbor's dog, Barley, to jump up on my arm and dance with me when I first got back to Reading. And it was 32, 33, that is when I started dancing. I always told people before then that I only danced when drunk, and I hardly ever drank. I drink more now, but it's still once a month, once every few months, unless I've got strings of Twitter visits going on, and sometimes I drink a little more. But yeah, and I would only sing very, very rarely in front of my ex, not the abusive one, my ex-fiance. If I felt very comfortable, I would not sing in front of anybody else. And even with him, it was only a handful of times. And now I'm just yeah, I'll put a video up on Twitter of me singing really horribly to the song that I don't even know the lyrics to, because it's freaking fun. Yeah, that was story about me and singing. Do you have any stories about you and singing? I will try to remember what other questions you asked me. And maybe pepper in stuff about Vibe Camp every once in a while. But oh yeah, it's 4:30 now. In 1 hour, I'm leaving. And then wait, let me do the math. 2. Okay, so it's 21-ish hours of travel, 21 and a half maybe. So in 22 and a half hours, I will be somewhere else with a capital E. Very excited to send you updates from there. All right.